what's good, Granny Gang? It's Jay Granny back with another video. Today's video we're doing fashion and music culture again for January. Now, I did one of these videos a while back and you guys seem to really like it, so we are starting off the year strong with another one. And basically what I do in these videos is I run down the fashion and the music cultural either headlines or just things that I've been paying attention to, so you guys can kind of see where I'm getting, I guess, inspiration from. Not always, but just kind of like what I'm paying attention to. If you guys like these videos, definitely go down and hit the like button. Also subscribe if you're new. You should be subscribed, and hit the bell button because you gotta be a part of Granny Gang. We the Flash Gang on YouTube. But also, if you guys want to have a say in what topics are being talked about, definitely go ahead and check out my Instagram, because on there I will usually put like a story where you guys can give feedback and reply to and ask what topics. I also have really fire fits on there, so you should already be following. Now, to hop right into it, to keep it very current, we're gonna go ahead and talk about Paris Fashion Week. This is the one that at least I found the most interesting so far, because it had a lot of brands that I pay attention to and that I really like. So we're gonna hop right into it. Now, the first brand that we're gonna get into is Dior. Now, Dior has been making fire pieces recently. Just everything that they've been showcasing as far as accessories has been insane. But this fall winter 19 collection has been insane. It has a lot of like punk inspirations with a lot of vests and a lot of different kind of rigs and bags and just different designs that I think were so aesthetically pleasing that it was crazy. So to show some examples of that, I'm gonna put up, for one, this nice like sewed or knitted vest. It has like these eyes on it, and I think it's knitted. I want to say it's knitted, but it looks crazy. Another piece that I thought was insane was this little book bag type of a thing. I'm not quite sure if it's exactly a book bag, but it kind of has like two bags on it that are like small hand or shoulder bags, but they're like stacked on top of each other, and I just thought that was crazy. Now, the next brand that I'm going to get into is called Sacai by Cheetos Abe, I believe the name is. Now, this is the same designer that made the collab with Nike. They had the blazer and they had, this is like the LDV Daybreak or something like that. But I remember seeing those on the internet, and that was honestly the first time I really came across this designer, and I was like, yo, that's the way that they stacked and layered this kind of like colorway in the shoe was just crazy to me. So seeing it now and seeing the Sacai brand, I'm like, okay, this makes sense. And in the show, it kind of shows these different layers and how it kind of takes these original pieces, or these, like, say it'd be like a jacket or something, and it almost like double layers it. You'll see by the pictures, but it's crazy. Also, the whole aesthetic and the color coordination of each outfit that was put together just fell in sync perfectly, and I think as a total show from the pictures, it looked like a very well put together masterpiece. Now, moving on, we're gonna talk about Virgil Abloh and his two shows, one with Louis Vuitton and one with Off-White. First of all, I just want to say that both of them were very new and refreshing. And first of all, the Louis Vuitton started off, him being there and giving this new type of spin, or bringing streetwear into high-end fashion, I guess you can say. But I think he has a new outlook on Louis Vuitton and is able to make these fresh new pieces that maybe wouldn't have generally been in a Louis Vuitton show, but now we're seeing these crazy pieces. Like, I've seen puffer jackets, vests. He has this one particular jacket that has these pockets the same way a vest would have, and it is just crazy. The nice original brown and kind of like yellowish Louis Vuitton print all over it, monogram print, and it's crazy. So he also put in a new art installation in the Louis Vuitton building. I believe that's in New York, and it's like insane. Like, the fact that it has this 2-level story building, and half of the, I guess it's like a person, half of the person is in the first floor, and then the second floor is the head. So kind of as you go up, continues to the body, and it is just crazy. So the whole design of that is dope. There's even a spot where you can take a picture, and on the outside it will show the Louis Vuitton building with the whole painting in the front. So that is insane. But moving into the Off-White show, I wanted to say that this show in particular was a lot better than last year's fall winter. This year has a little bit more liveliness to it. One of my favorite pieces from the show this year is the spray painted Gore-Tex jacket that they had in yellow. I think that was one of the craziest looks. They also had an orange bomber jacket that had a shirling collar. He also dropped a shoe in this collection that I definitely think is a vibe. The overall feel of it kind of looks like a hiking shoe as far as the bottom goes, but the whole construction of this shoe I think is really nice and clean for an everyday streetwear outfit. Lastly, I think one of the most standout pieces from the show was this huge oversized puffer jacket that we seen Offset modeling, and I think that whole vibe with the cross kind of strap or button, whatever you want to call it, I think that was really dope as a design. And that kind of transitions me into this topic that I think a lot of people were interested in, and they wanted to know my opinion on what I think about rappers modeling and fashion. Now, for the most part, I believe this is a aesthetic choice and kind of like maybe marketing, though I don't think it is so much marketing to the point where it's like these music artists are heavily influencing fashion, specifically Playboi Carti and Offset. They talk about Off-White and these different brands a lot in the music, so it's only like right that I guess you can put these people in there. So now it kind of like sprinkles a little flavor in there, you know what I'm saying? So, and as far as the people that are chosen, like he didn't choose completely random music artists. Both of these artists have been heavily in fashion. Like I've seen Offset model a couple of different brands, and of course we've seen Carti in Kanye's Yeezy season. So neither one of these people are new to runways or anything like that. Though I did see the show and Offset did, he was walking kind of slow, like he didn't know what he was doing, but I think like those were good people to choose. He didn't like choose somebody completely random who isn't even, you get what I'm saying? So I think it's dope as long as the selection of your people fit within your show. Now next on the topics we have Heron Preston, and he makes the list this time because he's dropping his first shoe, and I personally think that this shoe is a very, very good looking shoe. Now this Vibram outsole is kind of a trend, this hiking look, kind of similar to the shoe I just talked about with Virgil. So this whole look of a shoe is just one of those things that I think are going to be really in, especially in 2019, kind of how the dad shoe thing is. I think this is going to be like the next wave. So now staying on the topic of shoes, we have a collaboration with Rick Owens and Birkenstock. Now we've seen one of these collaborations before. I think it had the fuzzier look on the Birkenstock, but this one is a lot more traditional, a lot more everyday wear type of a shoe. But it pretty much just has this big chunky strap in black in the front, then it has a white strap in back that I think really complements this kind of yellowish gum type sole. So in my opinion, this looks really fire. I haven't purchased Birkenstocks before. I wasn't a huge fan of them, but this one is one that I would definitely consider copping just because of the way it looks and the colorway. So that's one that I wanted to put on the list. Another thing that I wanted to talk about was A$AP Rocky and Babushka's. Now he has been wearing this scarf tied around his head. Now he's been doing this for a while now. We've seen him do it with the Gucci scarf, and it kind of had people turning their heads like, yo, what is this? He looks like a grandma, whatever. And now he's kind of started making a trend. We've also seen people use scarves and stuff like that, which I've shown in other videos. But I think that this could possibly be a wave. For one, A$AP Rocky, A$AP Mob, the whole clique kind of controls the streetwear culture. So a lot of times if they put something out and they rock with something for a long enough time, everybody's going to catch on and they're going to slowly progress into integrating it into their style. So I think this is gonna be a wave, and now he has his own like Babushka brand, I guess you could say, or line. Let's say line. And we seen him at the Yams Day, and we seen him and Ian Connor, if you guys seen that picture on the internet recently, but they're both wearing these Babushkas, and I think it could be a vibe. So moving on down the list, we have anticipated releases. Now I only have two of these, but the first one I wanted to talk about was the C2H4 Air Force One collab that they showcased in their most recent show. This Air Force One is so freaking fire, bruh. Just the 3M axis on it with this reconstructed tongue, like, bro, it's crazy. That's definitely something that's right up my alley to cop. I don't care how much it is. Actually, I do care how much it is. Hopefully they not, you know what I'm saying, going too crazy. It's an Air Force One, so it should be nowhere over like maybe like a 200, you know what I'm saying? If it's that, I'm cool. definitely gonna try to cop it, but the like overall look of it is crazy. So now the next thing that I think is very anticipated and going to be on everyone's radar is the Adidas Yeezy Boost 700 V2 in the Geo colorway. This one is a very clean colorway actually. Now the Yeezy 700 V2 is definitely one of the cleaner models of the Yeezy that I prefer, and I just think that this is one that everybody's gonna go with because the colorway is nice, mutual, and clean. I personally wanted to get the white ones, which didn't end up happening, but overall this is like a clean shoe, and I would definitely cop if I have the chance and if I can get it for retail, you know what I'm saying? So now one of the topics that's really relevant in streetwear right now that I must cover is denim, because I've seen a lot, well not a lot, but I got a list here of a couple of people who really been killing the denim game, and it's really coming out of New York if you look at the vibe of it. So one of the first people I want to mention is Ed Bravado. I've mentioned him on this channel before, and he makes a lot of fire denim pieces in specific. I think he just had like a pop-up shop or somewhere where he was doing like custom dyeing where you can bring in your own denim and dye it, and I just think this overall look of his stuff is so signature to him, where I think he'll go really far, and I think he'll definitely be one of those bigger brands who come up in 2019. Now other people who have the similar type of look is Vlone, Veil Liz, and Meet the Guys. All of these brands have this similar denim dyeing type of look, and I just think that it's dope. The fit of them are all usually like this kind of more baggier type of look, and I just think the way it stacks has a similar, or has a signature look, and I think it's definitely going to be something that you guys should keep an eye on. So you'll see all the brands up here. You gotta pay attention to them. Now speaking of things to keep an eye out for, I created this cool little list of brands that I personally think you should keep an eye out for in 2019, whether it be because you like the brand in general, or I just think that they are gonna be a bigger name when it comes to this year. Now some of you may have caught on and heard of this brand already, but it is Rude. I've seen a lot of nice pieces come from this brand. I believe it started in 2014, designed by Rugi, so you can kind of see where the name comes from. But I think he originally ran into some people like Big Sean. I believe he got some pieces on Big Sean. He ended up working with Kanye, and he got different pieces. Like I remember watching the story. I don't know the exact thing, so I'm not gonna talk too much on it, but overall the pieces that he makes are really dope. He has really nice graphics. I think that's one of his strong points, is the graphics. Definitely if you're looking for graphic tees, you should probably check them out because it has this nice bold feel, but it also has a vintage look as well. So really dope brand. Now the next brand that I'm going to go over is one that is a personal favorite to me. I'm not quite sure if everyone knows about this brand yet, but Taka Original, or Taka. This is just a really dope brand. They make a lot of futuristic, looks to be nylon type of pieces. They have puffer jackets. They have, you know what I'm saying, really nice pants with either, it could be like a drawstring or just something more tactical to it. So I think this is definitely a dope brand, and they probably will have a bigger come up in 2019. Now one of the brands that I wanted to mention that haven't officially dropped yet, but I think it's going to be really crazy when it drops, is Human Nature Worldwide by Malachi Spivey. I've been following him on Instagram for a while now, and I've seen him preview and kind of tease these different pieces. I've seen him put it on a Laylee May. She had this black all denim outfit. It was like a denim jacket, pants, and all of that, and it had like these skull and crossbones on it, and I think it is really clean. The quality looks to be up to par. I've seen it on Bloody Osiris as well, and he had this camo version of it. So I think it's gonna be dope once he gets rolling. Now moving on into the topic of music, which is one of the topics that I really enjoy talking about in general. So I went to somehow include it into the channel, and this is my way of doing that. But I wanted to cover some headliners right off the bat, and we're gonna talk about Soulja Boy, man. Now Soulja Boy's been going crazy on the internet lately. You literally have to be living under a rock or just not having social media in general to not have seen this. But he been wilding out, man. And I think he has slid into that spot to where 6ix9ine was at before he went to jail. So he's our new entertainer for the time being, and he's been wilding, man. He's been talking about putting Drake on. Of course, we seen him come at Tyga, which is where all of this stuff kind of sparked. And I think he just found a little pocket where the internet was missing that huge, groundbreaking entertainer type of a deal. because I don't think his music is gonna back it himself. Like, he's not like 6ix9ine where he makes bangers and is able to go crazy on the internet. I think he's just one of those people who are gonna have everybody tuned in to his other stuff so that maybe his music can bubble up, but I think he just is gonna stay a relevant star from this. Now, enough about Soulja Boy. We are gonna get into a topic that is very much more important in my opinion, and that is Lil Uzi Vert saying that he's gonna quit music in 2019. Now, first off, when I seen him say it on the story that he wants to quit music and wants to be like he was in 2013 when he wasn't famous and all that, and like right off the bat, I was like, okay, this is his tactic of promoting his new album. He's gonna have everybody like paying attention to this, blah blah blah. One of the things that also went through my mind was like, okay, maybe he's frustrated with the deal. We've all seen Uzi like complain about how drama is not letting him release music and how he has all these problems with signing to a major label and things like that. Now, one thing I do want to say is Uzi is not quitting music no time soon. So if you believe that, you just fell for another kind of scheme or antic. He can't quit music. End of the story. He is under contract, and to keep a long story short, first of all, this album has to come out, and the only way that Uzi would be able to quote unquote quit music or get out of his contract, his label would have to drop him, and no label is gonna do that with Uzi. Like, Uzi is literally one of the hottest artists out right now, so dropping him wouldn't even be like in their mind. Also, labels contract you or sign you for multiple albums. It's usually not like a time period. It's like, hey, we sign you for 5 albums, you do that, and then we'll renew your contract. So Uzi has only dropped one album, one official album, I believe, and that's Love Is Rage 2. So with that being said, like, he has more albums to release. So if you thought he was quitting music, he's not. Let's move on. Now, to real quick run through December, since I did miss it, you have albums like XXXTentacion Skins dropping, Gucci Mane dropped an album called Evil Genius, Lil Key Talk to Him, and 21 Savage, I Am I Was, and lastly we have A Boogie Hoodie Season. Now, all of these were probably like the ones that I listened to and paid attention to. Of course, I believe XXXTentacion he had really good songs on the album, though I felt it was very unfinished, and I think it was just missing those fillers or those transitions to make it feel like one cohesive album. Lil Keed is definitely one of those people who I think are gonna be one of the next superstars, definitely under Young Thug. Somehow Atlanta seems to produce these artists with this similar sound, and they still end up being stars. His music is definitely fire. He's different enough to where it's like, okay, we can separate him from Thug and the rest of them. And I think he makes really dope music. I've been bumping this up ever since. Now, Kodak's Dying to Live, that album was definitely fire. A lot of songs are on repeat from that. Mosh Pit is fire, though I think everybody didn't want to hear features on this album, which is understandable because Kodak makes very good individual music, and you don't really need features on there. So I can definitely see where people are coming from. So now moving into the month of January with music, we have one of the top albums I believe that dropped so far, and that is Future's The Wizard. Now, like I said in the last one, usually Future is like a hit or miss, and this album right here was definitely a hit. I enjoyed this album probably from cover to back, you know what I'm saying? This has some really dope songs. In particular, one of my favorite ones is Temptation. I think just the cadence and the overall melodies of that song was fire. Next one, I would have to say Crushed Up. Of course, he released this one as a single with a video and all. Club banger, bro. This joint's hard. Lastly on my list of favorite songs was Promise You That. And I just think I'm a melody person, so this was definitely one of those Future melodies that I really enjoyed. He also had a Travis Scott feature on here, which is a nice like club song as well. So now the next album that I'm going to talk about that dropped this month and that I personally listened to is YNW Melly, We All Shine. Now the song that brought my attention to this album in general, I'm not gonna lie, is Mixed Personalities featuring Kanye West. First of all, I want to say that Cole Bennett killed it with this video. The visuals is the first thing that I seen, and then I went and listened to the album. Now I've been a fan of YNW Melly ever since hearing Murder on My Mind. Of course, that was his first big hit. He also had Blue Balenciagas. Now both of those songs did really well, sounded really well, visuals were good. YNW Melly definitely finna be a star. Now at the time of making this video, the month isn't over, so I'm gonna run down some albums that you can be on the lookout for, or at least what I'm on the lookout for. So first you have Members Only Volume 4, which is dropping. Of course, if you don't know who Members Only is as a collective, that's pretty much X, Ski Mask, Lil Trunks, Tank Head. The rest of them, I'm probably missing names, but that is gonna be like a whole overall collective tape. You get what I'm saying? So next is Boogie, Everything for Sale. Now Boogie is an artist that is from Compton and is probably one of my favorite like lyrical artists that are kind of underground. I wouldn't say underground, but he's not exactly a household name yet. You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely looking forward to that one. There was a song at the end of Self-Destruction. So it's called Self-Destruction, and that was the newer songs that was dropped after the release of Thirst 48 Part 2. So Thirst 48 Part 2 was crazy. It had a whole bunch of hits on there, so this one should be a good one. Lastly, we got Rich the Kid, The World Is Yours 2. It's probably gonna be very close to The World Is Yours, the original one. And we all know what to expect from Rich the Kid. So that is it for the video. If you guys would like to further the discussion on any of these topics, go ahead and comment down below. I want to hear all y'all thoughts on any of these topics, any of your responses. So definitely go ahead and do that. Hit the like button if you haven't yet, because it helps the channel grow tremendously if you guys are wanting to support. Now to end this video off, I'm going to leave you guys with 5 songs that have been on repeat on my playlist. But besides that, that's it for the video. I'll be back to you guys with more. Peace.
Shawty going out of the teens, 3,500 for D. Said please, I got your home.
Hey, 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 girls can't take it. Yeah, she take it, never run it, take it.
Red bottom kids, I feel like stomping in hell. Oatmeal and grits, I'm eating cornfish in hell.
Hop on the jet on my property and fly away. Fly, fly, fly away, yeah, yeah.
Take me back to Georgia, back to Atlanta. Funny how present turns past.